Hey, Michael Scott Overhold here. Emotional intelligence is a hot button term right now. Seems like everyone is interested in becoming more emotionally intelligent or confessing that they were not nurtured to be emotionally intelligent. That latter group, which I sometimes throw myself into, often expresses some frustration with their upbringing. The idea, though, that we can become more adept at navigating our emotional geography is inviting. For one, it places a responsibility squarely upon the individual to learn. I can say, this is in my power. This is up to me. No one else can do this for me. That's an empowering position to put yourself in. Several years ago, I shifted the way that I approach my emotions. Up until this shift, I regarded emotions warily, like they needed to be stringently managed or in some cases shooed away, right? The shift, however, was one that I began seeing emotions as friends, messengers, if you will, who communicated with me about the beliefs lying deeply within, many of which I was completely unaware of. My task then turned from chasing unpleasant emotions away or pandering to the more pleasant ones, to curiously asking all of them what they had to say to me. Why were they present? What belief sent them to me? It was a game changer. I became more adept at staying in uncomfortable conversations, recognizing triggering events, and dealing with beliefs that were not very helpful. It's taken a lot of work, a lot of consistent work that I would compare to exercise, which is always better when done regularly, diligently, and arduously. Anabasis is the ancient Greek word for the inward journey or the ascent. And today, I'm journeying into the world of coaching with Shaikh Uzma Jamal. Uzma is an emotional fitness coach from Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, India, who is putting all of her effort into helping clients consciously tap into their superpower. That is their emotions. I hope you enjoy.
In terms of emotional fitness, if I say, I focus a lot not only on when we talk about the empathy part. So it does not mean that you have to empathize only to other people, but being empathetic to your own self is the key. That is the first and the foremost thing. My name is Shaikh Uzma Jamal and I'm a life coach. Who am I is actually a tough question to, share, because there is so much I feel in my personality and the things I keep on doing. But primarily, I am an ICF certified life coach, and I deal with emotional fitness of people and their personality transformation. I chose these two as my niche because I have a decade long experience in training people. I've been a trainer in communication and personality transformation for more than 10 years, and I've almost trained more than 10,000 people of all age groups in this, field. So that was one part that was already there. And then getting my certification as a life coach, I felt that I can add more on to this particular niche. And emotional fitness was something, that came to me because throughout my life, when I have been a trainer also, I have felt this thing that emotions are something which people are not able to understand and handle in a proper way. They kind of feel that it's something which is negative, should not be talked about, should not be there in the professional life. So I felt, but for me, I feel I'm an emotional person, and for me, emotions have been my superpower. So I felt that after COVID, I observed a lot of people getting very much aware about their physical fitness. A lot of people started doing yoga, they started hitting the gym. I myself have started going to the gym, where I have always called myself as a no workout person. I hate exercising like anything. I'm a total foodie. But I started that because I realized that how important physical fitness is. On the other hand, emotional fitness is still something which people are neglecting or are not taking seriously. And this is something which should start at the very, childhood level. From the school level, people should start understanding the importance of emotional fitness. So I like kind of very strongly felt about this particular topic, and I was like, this is what I want to work upon. And what drives me is the satisfaction that I get when every client of mine, or a student of mine comes to me. So I have actually trained a lot of students who are from countryside, and they would even struggle with the language English, and they belong to very small and not very financially stable families, and they would come to the city to learn and groom their personality. And one day I remember a student who I um, trained for interviews, how to crack an interview, and he got a job, and he came to me. And we have this tradition in India that you touch the feet of your guru or your teacher. And he came to me and he touched my feet, and I was pretty young at that time. In fact, the student was elder to me, and I was taken aback for a second, like, okay, what is he doing? I was not used to that, but as a teacher later I learned how to handle it gracefully. So he touched my feet and he said, ma'am, because of you now I can send money to my family and they can live nicely. And he had tears in his eyes, and that was the moment I realized, oh my god, this is what I want to do in life. This is the feeling that I want to get every day in my life. And that really drives me every single time when I'm helping somebody one on one or taking some kind of workshops. So, yeah, that's it.
That's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much for that. Great example. Cool. So, what is your coaching philosophy, Uzma?
Uh, See, since I am ICF certified, so in terms of talking about the philosophy of coaching, it, of course, the underlining philosophy is all the competencies that our International Coaching Federation has. So my style of working resonates with it a lot. And apart from that, as I am an innermost shift coach, my certification is in that. So the very first thing, and the thing that actually attracted me to be a coach, was that for me, I don't need to feel that I need to fix my clients. There is not something which is lacking in them. They are whole in themselves. They are unique. And I am like a navigator. I'm somebody who's going to hold the hand of the person and help the person find out answers from within them. So that is something which I felt was very nice, instead of just giving information or advice. Because Michael, if you see, your life is different, my life is different, my life's experiences are different. You're from a different country, I'm from India. There can be certain things which traditionally would be different for me and would be different for you in your culture. Now you come up as a client and ask me something, you ask me something, and I give you an advice as per my upbringing, my environment, my thought process. It might not fit in your situation. So everybody is unique. And as a coach, I use different kind of, there's a framework that we have, which is called as the IC probe gap, which is a beautiful framework which helps you understand from deep within what are your inner resistances that are stopping you, from overcoming that particular problem that you're facing. And then helping you through NLP tools or coaching tools to get or seek the answers from within. It's all about, so there is this concept in innermost shift coaching which is called as your guru state, and that is a power center within our body. So if we talk about, we can say it in simple layman language as intuition, or the gut feeling that we have. So it's a feeling that tells you many a time that what is right and what is wrong for us. Now it happens spontaneously. We do not know how to use it consciously. But as an innermost shift coach, I train my clients to uh, consciously connect to their power center. And then once they connect and they know how to use that power, they are able to make decisions, they are able to seek answers of every problem or every situation where they're stuck in. So that's the philosophy that I follow.
I noticed that there are two metaphors that you've used. One of them is you said that you see yourself as a navigator, and you hold the hand and kind of show them kind of the pathway. The other one that I've picked up on is training and fitness. Yeah, and so you see yourself both helping them navigate and stuff, find their way, but also become stronger too. Correct? Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay. Can you talk to me a little bit more about what that looks like with a client, like how you help them navigate, but then also help them become stronger?
Right. So there is a technique that is used in emotion coaching, which is called the best pattern. Now, best is basically to make you experience the entire shift that you have, which is called as yoga somatically, or you can say it more like psychosomatically. So the best stands for, B stands for your body posture and the breathing. E stands for your energy and emotions. S stands for the sensory things, or maybe the visual construct you make in your brain when you're imagining something. And T stands for your thinking and thoughts. So if you combine all of this, so this is the complete experience that one has in his or her body, right? For example, if I ask you, Michael, to think of any situation from your past wherein you felt really confident about yourself, or you were very happy, and you ask you to just teleport and go back in that time, and you close your eyes and you're imagining, and I ask you to feel it in your every cell. Now, when you feel it, now you literally feel the same emotion right now, which you might have felt that time. Now, this is a very powerful thing of our brain, that it can create the same emotion, the same sense that you have experienced in the past, if you want to, right now. So we have various tools through which, we bring that energy. Maybe, if I am training somebody for confidence building, so I'll make that person think of a past experience. And then once the person completely, feels it in the body, the breath, the emotion, thinking and everything, I ask the person to get aware of it. And then I ask even the client to jot it down, whatever the person experienced. Now, I make the person realize and understand what was that internal resource that the person has used in the past, which the person can use now in the situation where the person is not feeling confident. And this entire experience that the person has realized, now the person has it on paper. He knows that if I get back into this breath, I get back into this body posture, or I remember that strong anchor that I had in my brain. Like when I experienced it for the first time, and I was going under the training to understand this tool, I remember my anchor is Hulk hand. So whenever I feel, like a little bit in self-doubt, I close my eyes and I remember my Hulk hand, and I get into the energy, and I'm like, bang, bring it on. I'll do whatever, comes on my way. So, and it really helps. It's not like something I'm saying. Trust me, I feel that energy in my entire body, and I'm like, I'm good to go. I'll do it. So this is how, this is one part, one of the strongest tools that really helps a lot of clients of mine. So I wanted to give a glimpse of it. So that's how the framework works, and not leaving it to this part only where the person has felt that positive energy, but then coming down to the part of setting up the goals for the client, and then of course, being an accountability partner and making sure that the client is completing all the goals. Then only, of course, the change will come. Otherwise, it's only talk and nothing else.
So, you reference Harry Potter in your TEDx talk, right? And I just can't help the way that you were describing that reminds me of the Patronus charm, where he has to recall his happiest memory to then create the Patronus that then chases away like the Dementors or something like that.
Yeah.
In your TEDx talk, you call emotions the quote-unquote Voldemort of the professional world, which I think is brilliant. I love it. What are ways that your coaching is actively working to dismantle the negative stereotypes surrounding emotions?
So your question made me think that you are also a Potterhead. Is it? Yeah. So, when I read this question, I had such a big smile on my face because not very many people, focus on that point. Everybody has appreciated me for the first story that I tell in that video. But this part was something, and since I'm a Potterhead, I can't help it giving Harry Potter references in everything and anything that I talk about. Even, if I'm writing some blog or something, it just comes up. And, I felt this thing because when I interact with a lot of people, and I remember I was talking to this very senior doctor of Lucknow, and I was conducting a live workshop in Lucknow that was all about emotional fitness and related topics to it, mental health and stuff. And he was like, he came and he said that, Uzma, I don't believe in these emotional fitness or emotional intelligence. When in my hospital they have these sessions, I just go to have nice lunch because it's a conference, but I don't. I For a second, I felt, why is he saying like this? Since he's in the medical profession, he should equally understand the importance of mental health and emotional health. And he said, I have always felt that since I'm an emotional person, people take undue advantage of me. So I realized that even, people at that level of education and stature in the society are struggling with emotion so much. And when, you call somebody emotional, you think of the person as a crybaby, whereas emotions are a whole spectrum where happiness is also an emotion, being envy is also an emotion, being sad is also an emotion. So emotional person should also be, if somebody is very expressive and is happy, should also be called as an emotional person. Emotional person is somebody who's able to express all the kind of emotions. But when we hear this word, just like discipline, when we hear the word discipline, it's like a negative thing, something very strict, or you have to do it, it's something under compulsion. In the same way, when we think of emotions or somebody who's emotional, it's all negative. So I am on this mission to make people understand that emotions are your friends. You need emotions because you're a human being, you're not a machine. And emotions are not taboo. Expressing them is not a taboo. Crying is not a taboo. Feeling jealous is not bad. It's all, very natural. And if you suppress it, it's going to come out in a worse way. Recently, I had a client of mine who had a lot of resentment towards her parents because of the clashes that the parents had. And it had a lot of effect on her as a child, to an extent that she is very skeptical in her own relationship. She does not want to have a child because what if she has a son? She is so biased and negative towards males. It has come to this point. And then, but there is an innate guilt also, that she feels that resentment for her parents. So when I was having an interaction with her and I was helping her out, I said, it's okay to feel that resentment. This is not wrong. You're not a criminal that you're doing that. So one thing, making people understand, a lot of clients of mine are struggling because they are suppressing their negative emotions because they feel that guilt about it. So I help them in that, releasing that through probing them through the coaching tools or using NLP techniques. That's what I do. And professionally, usually when I'm taking some kind of, group workshops with some kind of corporates, like recently I did with VAs, which is an organization for women entrepreneurs, and it's for women empowerment. So there I focus that how emotions are important in the professional world also. If you're not able to regulate your emotions properly when you are in the professional setup, that is also going to mar your performance. You cannot just think that, I need to be practical, I cannot have emotions. No, if you're having that sense of competition, you get hurt by some of your colleagues and you keep putting that inside you, it is going to come out, it is going to leak, and your teamwork will be hampered. So this is how I'm propagating the idea, and as much as I can make people understand that emotions are our superpower.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that emotions are our friends. I mean, it was something I was not, I do not feel that my upbringing allowed me to become very emotionally intelligent. And I've had to develop emotional intelligence over the, over my lifetime, but especially in the last like couple of years, it's been incredibly important. And recognizing them as friends or recognizing them as messengers, with some sort of message for me has been really helpful. And so I resonate deeply with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I noticed on Facebook that you recently addressed what you call, quote, self-constructed obstacles, end of quote. You then go on to write that, and I'm going to be quoting you here, when our clients come up with reasons for their issues or poor performance as external factors, we help them change their focus and ask them to look within them and reach the real reason behind the issue, end of quote. Is this what you do as an innermost shift coach? Help me understand what you mean by this title of innermost shift.
Yeah. So, innermost shift coach, the term, if I just explain it slightly literally, is to bring the shift from deep within you. That's the basic meaning of innermost shift coaching, because it's not something where you're just working superficially on a person, that you met the person, you talked about, okay, this is the problem, fine, these are the obstacles, fine, these are the things that you can do, blah blah blah, very mechanical way. No, innermost shift coaching makes you very self-sustainable. That is the thing that I love about innermost shift coaching, because as I said in the previous question also, that it is going to help you to get that change from deep within you, and it is going to help you completely feel that energy yoga somatically or in your each cell, and it helps you to actually work on your mindset. And every time, like what happens in inner shift coaching is that the first session which happens, it's called the foundation session. So that session is not connected to the major issue that happens of the client, but that session is to help you to connect to your inner knowingness or the guru state, as I said. Once that is done, then I give a gap of at least 15 days to the client to practice that, you know on a daily basis, as many times the person can. And when the person is able to understand and consciously able to connect to that state, then the next session, the real issue starts. And when that issue starts there, when I ask the questions, and if the client is stuck somewhere, I say, okay, connect to your inner knowingness and now seek the answer from within you. So basically, it's something that really makes you very powerful. And once, maybe for the first time, you have connected to a coach who is an innermost shift coach, and you understood how to seek answers from within and how to solve the problem using that inner knowingness or the guru state that you have. Next time in life, if ever you have that problem, you will never need a coach, because you already know how to seek answers from within yourself, right? So this is something that's like kind of the beauty of innermost shift coaching. And yeah, it really makes you understand the great infinite potential that is deep within you, the power of love, the power of uniqueness, how unique you are, and you understand that. And understand the love that you have inside you and how you can channelize that power. So there are different things that there is a power of inner knowingness, power of love, and the power of uniqueness. All these three combine to make you realize the immense potential that you have inside you and how you can tap that resource and become successful or an outstanding person in your life.
How's your coaching contributing to a more empathetic and sustainable world?
So in terms of emotional fitness, if I say, I focus a lot, not only on when we talk about the empathy part. So it does not mean that you have to empathize only to other people, but being empathetic to your own self is the key. That is the first and the foremost thing. So I help my clients a lot with that, to first and foremost understand that, as we say for the self love part also, so when your own cup is full, then only you can give something to the other person. And to be honest, in India, Michael, sacrifice is taken as a badge of honor, and it's considered very good. So um, I remember I was having a live session where I was talking about self love, where this mother of a toddler raised a question in the live, and she said that whenever I go for self care, I feel guilty because I'm not giving ample time to my kid. On the other hand, I know her personally, she's a wonderful mother. So even taking those 2 hours out for yourself makes you feel so negative. So for me, uh, empathizing to others actually happens very easily, because as humans, since our childhood, we are taught to love others, be kind to others. All the moral stories that we have, heard and read in our childhood, it all teaches us to be, kind to others. But what about being kind to ourselves? Nobody teaches us that. So I focus a lot on that in my workshops, in my lives, and one-on-one sessions. And also when it comes to the professional part, I focus a lot on empathy leadership. That is one thing that, I feel has worked for me a lot in my 10 years of career as a trainer. So I had the team under me, and my team still, even if, I'm not working with them professionally, loves me like anything. They are still there and they stand by me. I help them out whenever they have any kind of issue, they need any guidance, because I had that emotional bond with them. The empathy, the genuine empathy was there. It was not just, being sympathetic to the person, but, I felt their pain as my own pain where they were struggling. So I helped them when I was training them step by step that, look, do it this way. I'm there to help you out. And always appreciating them on their small wins. So these are the two things which I focus on. And as for the sustainability part, as I told you, that as innermost shift coaches, we already train them consciously to, connect to their inner knowingness. And that really helps them to be self-sufficient when they face any kind of stumbling block in their lives.
So I have a question about the sacrifice being a big part of Indian culture. Is this um, does this stem from like religion and religious conditioning? Is that where the emphasis on sacrifice is coming from?
So it actually depends, because if I talk about Hinduism, so there also you'll find certain stories or things where sacrifice is an important part. Or even if you talk about Islam, so there also sacrificing things for your family, or the selfless love part comes. But moreover, it's actually more of a cultural thing here. People are, parents and kids. You'll find like out in other countries, you see, once a kid is 18, the person is okay and ready to leave the house and be on his, or on his own. But here you will see that parents want the kids and everybody to live together. And if somebody moves out, it is also considered, okay, you are not loving enough to your family. Or if kids even try to choose their own life partner, so then the parents feel bad, why it was our duty and our dream to choose somebody for you. Or maybe even when it comes to choosing your own career, like I had a kid who I was helping with the confidence building. So the mother and father are doctors, and he does not want to be a doctor, he wants to be a poet or something, artistic. But the father has made a hospital for the kid, and he has no choice but to be a doctor. So these are certain things, so where he might sacrifice his wishes at that point and become a doctor. So this is more actually like an Indian traditional thing, I would say, rather than the religious part.
I mean, the reason I ask is because, like in the Western tradition, there's such a strong emphasis on sacrifice as well,
Yes,
um,
yes.
and that stems from well, it stems largely from religious conditioning. You know, certain
Of course.
perspectives, like, or interpretations of like who Jesus was and what he did. And they tend to neglect the fact that he would go on like 40-day retreats and and withdraw from people for 40 days at a time, numerous times, to like self-care.
So I'm really excited about a book that I'm writing along with my business partner, Nabot. She's also an ICF coach. Since we both collaborated, because I have also had an experience of communication, and so did she, and our energy matched a lot when we got to know each other while doing our certification. And it's on communication and our real life anecdotes, basically, which we are going to share in our life. And we realize that communication is something that people lack a lot. It's not 100% sure, but the title would revolve around, are you understood? So that's the basic idea, because most of the time people say, nobody understands me. So this was one thing that was on our mind, that why do people often say this thing, my parents don't understand me, my boyfriend doesn't understand me? Because there is this communication gap that is happening. So with our life experiences, we're going to share certain stories of our lives where, as a coach, as a trainer, or with friends, where such kind of issues happen and how we help the person navigate through. So it's going to be a compilation of that. So I'm very excited about it. Hopefully by the next year starting, it may come out. So that's one thing. And apart from that, of course, there is, we are also planning a video course for, a lot of actually people who are following us, the young, because our focus is, helping the young leaders to transform them in terms of their personality and their emotional fitness part. So a video course for them, a lot of people requested that they would like that. So that is the second thing I'm very excited about. And since now COVID and everything is okay, so now conducting more live sessions, because I'm not a Zoom person. I'm like, I need people around me. I want to dance, jump, and get them on their toes. So yeah, lots and lots of live sessions. That's also on the cards.
Thank you so much, Uzma Jamal, for taking the time to talk with me. If you found this conversation beneficial, please subscribe to my podcast so you don't miss an episode. Next week, I'm talking with Morgan Brady from beautiful Southern California about curiosity, wonder, and the aha moments that we happen to encounter in coaching. Thank you for listening.